Hi everybody, and welcome to this tutorial where I'm going to demonstrate what you can do to try out your drawing material. Now this is a quick sketch I did on that scribbling pad paper. It's very thin. And here I made out a little bit of further study, and this is done on a special pastel paper. I will demonstrate it for you. Here it is. It's by Daler Roni Angers pastel paper. Now this kind of paper will absorb a lot more pigments than a scribbling pad paper would do. And I want to demonstrate this for you. And the setup is very easy and very nice for beginners too. You draw in a horizon, an object. Here you can see the sun in the sky, of course, with some clouds. Then underneath that horizon line there is your sea with all the lights and dark waves in the front, as you can see here. So this is what's happening. We have the sun, the clouds, an object, the horizon, then a lot of light upon the sea and some dark waves in the front. Very special for beginners, and of course you can find my prints on my Patreon page, also real-time recordings of course, and a lot of more tips. What I did here is I've drawn in a very simple sailing boat, and I did that with a Staedtler fineliner, and that's my object. You can choose any object you want. So for instance, you want to draw in an orca or something, just go ahead, and then you draw in your horizon. Now what we have now is an open space to start trying out our drawing material. This is our light source, and that's that big sun, and maybe it's setting or just coming up, I don't care, but it is clearly in the picture here. And maybe you have Panpastels. Now I will demonstrate both Panpastels and the pastel pencils. Here on top I will demonstrate a little bit of the Panpastels, and in the C part I will demonstrate the pastel pencils, and also combining these material. Now the greatness of that Angers pastel paper, and Canson paper does that too, is that it absorbs a lot of pigments. So you can go over a drawing a lot of times. So when you are not happy with the atmosphere or something of like the colors, you can just go over it again. Now here you can see me going over the Panpastel with the pastel pencil to ease down that blue sky a little bit, and the part nearby the horizon I want to lighten up. Now because I've drawn in the object with the Staedtler fineliner, which is an ink, that object will always stay visible. So I have a clear space of trying out my drawing material. Now this is a Panpastel knife. It has a little sponge on it, and I can use that to pick up pastels or to blur out my pastel pencil stripes. And I want a soft sky, of course, and I will be very frank with you, I have no idea what will come out. I want to give an impression of different kinds of weather situations, so I will alter this drawing as I'm going. Now here I'm drawing in, at the first instance, a nice and sunny day. So it's all, well, kind of nice, and, well, the colors are bright. But as I continue, you will see that I will change the atmosphere around, and I also want to know how much pigment this pastel paper will absorb. Here I'm drawing in some beams of light that come from underneath the clouds, for instance. So it's very pretty all, and it's, well, a bright day actually. And here I go over that sun again, because I want that to be really, really shiny. So I've put in 4 layers of white already on that piece of the sun. Now let's take a look at the surface of the sea. It's a calm sea in this case, and I'm putting in some white pigments with my white pastel pencil. Now towards the horizon, and as the sea is really smooth, that part will be very, very bright. Here in the front, I will get more darkness, and you can actually see a little bit of waves. Then I take my blue pastel pencil. It's middle blue, a little bit on the dark side, and I simply go over the white a little bit. And this is light blue, so I'm mixing that up too, still not knowing where this will bring me. Now in this tutorial, the paper is brownish, quite dark, and you will notice that when you choose another color of paper, that this will also change the atmosphere of your drawing. So I would advise you to try out different colors of paper too. I will. Okay, now what am I doing? I'm trying to draw in a little bit of yellow just to see what happens now. And I go over the blue, and I can see that it brings in more depth into the ocean itself. So I like this a lot. And for the front, I'm using my darkest blue here, just to see what happens, and also just beneath and next to that sailing boat. Quite a nice effect. So I get some kind of shadow that's casted by that ship and by the sun. And this is my black charcoal. I also want to see what that does together. And you can see me rubbing in here with my finger. And I must say, well, that blends very, very nicely. It gives that feel of a silky smoothness. I like it. I will apply a little bit here by the sailboat, and then just rub in everything with the finger. Now the surface of the sea way to the horizon, I want to be as bright as possible. Maybe I will change the sky a little bit. Now and then I just take a look, and then you can just decide, for instance, to draw in more contours into the clouds. And I want to draw in the underneath of the clouds. Now this immediately gives it a more threatening effect. So I'm changing the weather a little bit. And I still don't know where this will bring me. I'm simply trying things out. Adding a little bit of yellow. And well, let's take a look at the ship itself. It may be shined upon by the sun, for instance. And also when you are drawing in your object, you can also alter this as much as you want. Now, this is the front sail and it has some shadows here. Here you can see that mast and some lines, for instance, just a little bit. But I do not want to get all that much attention to the ship because it's quite far away, so it shouldn't be too detailed. I'll just try a little bit here and there. And that's the fun part too. When you're not happy with that object, you can just rub it out and then go over it again. And oh, this is a blender stick. Very nice for the smaller parts. Your finger would be too thick. And that's a nice detail too. We have all kinds of cold colors, and then that little flag is the only red dot in the drawing. Okay, let's change the weather a little bit again. Maybe, yeah, let's temper that sky a little bit and then bring out the sun again. This is layer 7, I think. And still that paper picks up the pigments. It's unbelievable. Just rub that in. Maybe make some aureolas around it. Always nice. And maybe draw in a little bit of more azure green. Well, that's maybe a little bit too much, but still I'm just trying it out, making it change in color and situations. Maybe I will put in some more mist. When you want to draw in mist, then the horizon kind of disappears. Like when it's misty and the seawater is throwing up those fog, then immediately your horizon will disappear. It's there and it will stay there, but you can just blur that out a little bit. Now the situation is different, and maybe it's a bit of a cold morning and there's a sailboat coming from that mist and the sun is just rising. So immediately you have a different situation. I will draw in the sea in front, much darker, and also this changes the atmosphere, and well, I just love it. So this is how long you can stretch out that drawing and your way of learning and triggering your mind. And I could alter this drawing like 10 times more if I want, but I will leave that up to you, of course. This is a mere inspiration for you, and this is just so much fun to do. And oh, this is a handy tip too. You can also go back in there with the fine liner if you want your object to stand out more. So just go over it with a fine liner and it will stick on that paper. Well, it turned out to be a misty morning. I hope you enjoyed it, and I of course love to see you also on my Patreon page. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next Friday.